weekend. Ira Epstein with your Metal Market Wrap-Up, and this wrap-up is for the weekend of Friday, the 25th of August, 2023. Wow. So Jackson Hole, we saw the Fed chair came out, made it clear on a couple of things. First, he's sticking with his 2% target. Do I think that can change? Yes, not this year. You have to go much further down, somewhere well into 2024, and see if you crack 3% and what the arguments are there and how things are looking for the economy. But right now, the message is clear. 2% target. All you people that still think the Fed is in any manner going to cut interest rates in 2023, you'll never get off being wrong. I get it, but you're wrong. It isn't going to happen. Could we get another rate hike? Absolutely. Each meeting into year end is live and it will be data dependent. Strong labor, you're going up. Pick up other parts, CPI, don't break down core CPI, you're going up. The Fed's only going to stand so long with what I have been writing about now for weeks when I have said, and I have said it over and over, the core CPI, I've said it for 6 months, is going to get down to a point where all the easy pickings are done. You get the low-hanging fruit, and then you start fighting where it can actually jump back on you a little bit because all you need is one key element to go up. It could be housing. It could be autos. It could be anything in there. You got to be careful as to what it is. And the Fed's been very, very clear with it. They're not happy with the pace that it's coming down. Some argue on the Fed board, the members, that, hey, we should sit back and let the lag effect take place. We won't live that long. That's the dilemma, and I think that's the message that your Fed chair said today. The pace has to pick up. They're satisfied that they've made headway, but the labor's too strong. Housing prices are going back up right now. You have a new problem in energy coming about. Marathon, the refinery, it's one of our big three. Had a fire. I don't know how severe it is, but I know that we saw a big jump up in the heating oil and gasoline. Look at what happened on heating oil on that. What have I been telling you every day? I didn't know there'd be a fire, but I said between the 14th and the 20th to August 28th. The 14th was the buy, I think, of the heating oil, the 20th, the gasoline, and then you normally get a rally to the 28th. It doesn't mean it breaks from the 28th, but that's where the seasonals come out of play. Well, guess what? They're both plays that are near 100%, 15 out of 15 years. I think one's 14 out of 15 years, the other's 100, which means 15 out of 15. Unless you get some news that this isn't bad, you're probably going to end up with those gains. It only has to go to the 28th, as I said. So today's already the 25th. You're looking at what, Tuesday? Okay. All right, so that's where I'm at and what I'm seeing on things. Look at the gold on a monthly close. I can make an argument if this thing on a monthly basis wants to keep breaking because there's no reason for it to go up. The Fed is going to be there fighting inflation. Why is this going up? We take a world event, can't be an inflation talk because if the dollar keeps going up and the dollar's at a 2-month high right now, that's the enemy right here. On the weekly chart, you're underneath the 18-week. You're staying weak. You can see how the chart is looking through here. The pattern, though, is not one yet of a trend. Let's define trend so you get it. Visually, I can see what the market's doing, so can you. But when you look at charts, you want to see patterns of lower highs, lower lows to have a downtrend. You have a higher high than that high and a lower low. Now, if you break through, right through here, 1884, then you get the lower highs, lower lows kicking in. That says maybe you're going to go to the 100-week average of 1847.60, and the Bollinger Band will probably be in that neighborhood if that occurs. That's what I would expect. Resistance up there, but not a trend yet. You got to wait and see if that kicks in. And you're oversold. It's a very hard market to play on the short side. Could we embed? Well, we ended up on a weekly basis with this week having both numbers underneath 20. Last week, though, both under 20. What about the week before? So what happens if you break down this week, you close lower and you do those numbers? You're embedded. that opens the door up for these lower numbers, I think. So that's all I can say is I think. When we look at the gold-silver ratio, you can see how we've got these patterns where it's keep breaking down. Now, the lower it goes here, all right, the less ounces of silver, less that you need to get an ounce of gold. So that favors silver. And when we look at silver, it came roaring off the combination of the 200-week average, this light gray and green. You see them right here? Came back to the 18-week. But unlike the daily chart, which went all the way to the upper band, this is a real resistance point in this market. You'd have to be able to clear here, in my opinion, 24.98 to say that it's more than a bounce on the weekly chart. In the copper market, China hasn't done anything right yet to make copper go. This is the big problem the market is having. Yes, they made a move overnight where they said, basically, here's what we're going to do for you. In the past, if you bought a home and paid off your mortgage and went to buy another home, you are not considered a first-time buyer. And then their metric goes where you got to have more money down, and the way you pay, the rates are higher. They have now said that each of the local provinces throughout the country can decide different. You don't have to treat it that way. If they had a mortgage and they've paid it off, they can be considered as a first-time mortgage buyer again. I don't know if they're going to allow that if you have a mortgage and you want to buy a second home. If I were them, why not? Give it to them. Get all the real estate sucked up. Now, you got real problems happening because another one of the companies, country, looks to me like next week it go into a full default. They only had until, I think, August 31st, and some of their creditors are saying no. They don't want to continue on. They want to be paid. They don't want to give an extension of time. You know how fluid things are like that. It can change, but it doesn't look good at this point. In the platinum market, we're about to get a bearish crossover here. Look at the 18-week average, 981, 976.5 is the 100-week. You get under that, that ain't going to be pretty. Ain't going to be pretty at all. And as a person that watches moving averages, you might get there, peak, and then start your way back down. Problem is you're oversold. Oversold conditions generally don't attract new selling. In the dollar, look at how it went. Now, today was all dollar. Today's action was very favorable. As soon as we started, you know when I knew it was going to be favorable? The opening words is, this speech is going to be longer than the one I did last year. I knew right away. He's going to define what he's doing. Last year, it was just, we're going to fight inflation. It was short. It was sweet. He was off the stage. Here he gave you things. If you still want to believe 2% is not his target right now, you are so out of the box, you don't know what you're talking about. Down the road could be June. We'll see what the heck happens. That's next June, by the way. That's a long way off. Are they going to break interest rates? There's no chance in my mind. I'll say it and I'll eat crow, not the real bird, but I wouldn't mind drinking a black crow. But you know what I'm getting at. If the Fed breaks rates anytime this year, I don't see it. I see zero. I put a zero probability. It's rare that I'll do that. Oh, sorry. So that looks like that's it. So that's where I'm seeing this at this point in time. Now, I have something for you. First, if I were you, I would wait if you're going to get any of my subscriptions or my courses to next week. And the rationale behind that is really simple. I'm going to be having a Labor Day sale. It'll be up for a few days. It's going to be a really nice discount on everything. And yes, even my current subscribers will be able to take advantage of a lot of things in it. So it's going to make sense for everybody. We're building the cart so you can buy numerous products for yourself. The courses, remember, when you buy them, they don't start. You tell us when the courses start if you decide to go with that. So with that, I'm Ira Epstein. Have yourselves all a great weekend. I will catch you Monday morning. Take care.